welcome to The Nation. I'm PASHA RAHIM. As the holiday season brings us together in celebration and reflection, we are reminded of the universal themes of peace, goodwill, and unity that Christmas embodies. But how can these values serve as a bridge to enhance interfaith harmony in a diverse nation like Malaysia? Today we are joined by Jason Leong, founder of Christians for Peace and Harmony in Malaysia. From his personal faith journey to the role of strong family units in fostering respect and his vision for the future of interfaith relations, Jason will help us navigate this important dialogue. Welcome to The Nation, Jason. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Pasha, and thank you, Bernama Timi, for this invitation to do this discussion.
All right, so let's start off with on the topic of interfaith harmony and also Christmas. Now, we all know that Malaysians, we love to celebrate, and we celebrate all sorts of celebrations, you know, from Hari Raya to Chinese New Year to Deepavali and Christmas. Now, in your experience, how can the celebration of Christmas serve as a bridge to enhance the interfaith understanding and also unity in Malaysia? Because obviously it's not just about celebrating the occasion, but it's also about understanding each other and understanding customs and understanding each other's religions and faiths.
Yes, exactly, because Christmas generally is the Christians who celebrate it. And the message of Christmas is important because it is always about the message of hope, loving God and loving people. And as Christians, we believe that this is what was the message that Jesus bring to mankind, and also the message of peace on earth and goodwill to men. All the more, this is appropriate in this time of the entire world, where there is so many unnecessary wars in Ukraine, Gaza, Palestine, and all over. So this message of peace and goodwill is most appropriate. And for Malaysians, I think, by and large, we are very blessed. We are spared all these unnecessary atrocities of war. And yes, there may be some polarization and tensions within the country, but by and large, we are still a very good country to stay in, and truly we have people who are so diversified in terms of the faith and races, the culture, but nevertheless we live in peace and harmony. And it is important because the message of Christmas, like I mentioned, is about loving God and loving people. If you want to look at the why and the how, that message itself gives you the why and the how. Because why? Because if you have and believe in a loving God, and you believe that you love God and you have the love of God in you, it's very impossible for you not to be able to love other people. So the why is already there. The how, you need to reach out in compassion to love others. Some of us sometimes feel that there are certain people who are unlovable, but we should be able to go beyond that and look at it in a more wholesome way, and be able to surmount that part about, you know, any of this polarization, and believe in forgiveness and starting over again. And I think Hari Raya is an incredible practice where you have Ma'af, Zahir, Batin, 0-0,
Yes.
and then we start all again. I think this gives a good restart and restoration. So similarly for Christmas, so if we can love the people, and I think whatever problems and issues that we may have among the races, among the different groups, I think we can resolve that, because ultimately the overriding factor that is above you is about love. And then we strive to love people, and a lot of these issues can be resolved through discussion and many other things. So that is why CPHM, or Christians for Peace and Harmony, was set up, and we keep pushing this message about peace and harmony, and through all our events, especially our Christmas event and Christmas dinner. So we have things like where we will invite all the other races to celebrate Christmas with us.
Right.
Yeah.
So how, I mean, with the work that you do, right, with CPHM, How do you encourage Christians, especially, you know, in their everyday interactions with other Malaysians, you know, just to encourage that harmony and that unity, and just maybe promoting just a little bit of understanding about their faith? Because, you know, obviously Malaysians, we're all different religions, we're all different faiths, but it doesn't mean that we cannot all come together as Malaysians and be together. So how do you do that?
Well, I think if we focus more on the common points and the common denominator that binds all of us, and in fact a lot of all other faith and religion, there is a lot of common universal themes like peace and respect, compassion and love for people. And if those things are truly being emphasized and practiced, then we go a long way. And especially for CPHM, so when we do our Christmas dinner, in fact, we make it a point to intentionally invite more those of people who are not of the Christian faith than the Christians themselves. So most of the time, our dinners end up, we have actually more Muslims than Christians at our dinner. And everybody is like respectful, and so there's a lot of engagement on the ground. And in terms of what we do, how do we engage each other and celebrate the common good that we have as a group of people? As we are all, ultimately, we're all Malaysians.
True,
right?
that's true.
So whether the race part should be, can be in a way, what do you call that, accommodated. And then as far as the message of peace that we should push out, that is very important. And that is why sometimes we have cases where at one of our dinners, actually, we invited a group of orphans from a Muslim orphanage and Tafiz school. And I also invited a group of orphans from a Christian shelter home run by a pastor. And we have like 30, 40 of these children sitting together and mixing around and eating at the Christmas dinner.
Right.
And I hope that experience, in a sense, will give them that sense of
togetherness,
belonging. And maybe when they grow up, they will understand that, hey, this is actually a very good thing.
Right. And it's really just embracing that Christmas spirit that makes the celebrations really, truly beautiful, right, Jason? We are going to continue on our conversation with Jason in just a minute, but we're going to go for a very, very short break. Don't go anywhere.
Bagi pihak pengurusan bernama, saya mengucapkan selamat menyambut Hari Natal, dan kepada mereka yang meraihkannya, sila berhati-hati dan berwaspada semasa memandu dan pulang ke kampung halaman masing-masing. Semoga anda semua tiba di destinasi dengan selamat dan gembira bersama keluarga untuk meraihkan Hari Natal. Kita semua merasa sedih memikirkan bencana yang menimpa rakan-rakan kita, saudara-saudara mara kita di kebanyakan tempat yang dilanda banjir. Tetapi untuk mereka yang menyambut Hari Natal, saya berharap mereka semua dapat bertabah, bersabar, dan pihak berkuasa juga sedang menyusun apa juga usaha untuk membantu mereka. Namun sekiranya berkemampuan dan boleh raikan Hari Natal dengan seadanya. Apapun, selamat menyambut Hari Natal kepada mereka.
Welcome back. We're still talking to Jason about embracing the true spirit of Christmas and just promoting interfaith harmony and also unity. Jason, perhaps you could share with us a pivotal moment in your personal faith journey that inspired your commitment to interfaith initiatives, because I understand you were also part of the Majlis Harmony 2017 until 2022, and that's quite an important role that you've taken on.
Yeah. I think it was in 2014, because 2014 was we started off 2014 on January 2nd, and there was a raid on the Bible Society where some Bibles were confiscated, And that created a lot of unhappiness among the Christian community. I went down, I spoke to the chairman of the Bible Society back then, and he was actually saying that there were a lot of pressure on him to start suing the government, all kind of thing. And he himself is a lawyer, and he said, no, I'm not going to sue, because what does a suit going to accomplish and bring? Right? So a lot of these things can just be resolved. So he took a very different stance. And then he said that the more important thing is to continue to have peace. And so he engaged with the religious authorities, and ultimately that issue was resolved. There's no need to sue each other, no need to go to court. Because anything that involves a religious issue sometimes is quite difficult for a court to decide. Because our court is based on an adversarial system. It's like win or lose. There is no such thing as draw. So one party is going to feel unhappy in a court case. So that is not the way to go. So the better way to do it is to engage and get understanding and then some accommodation. So eventually this issue was resolved. So they had the 10-point solution that came out, and then it's no more. So it was immediately after that I felt that Christians themselves need to stand up and actually say, we are for peace and harmony. Because this is more important in our country, especially it's so diversified. And I read the term peace and harmony was purposely chosen because it appears in our 1963 Proclamation of Malaysia. It's not in our independence 1957 proclamation, but in the 63 proclamation, it is there, the term peace and harmony, to preserve peace and harmony. And that's very important because all of us want peace and harmony in this country. And by and large, this country has been very peaceful. And considering the fact that we actually started at a very difficult time in 57 when our first Prime Minister Tunku, there was the emergency and there was technically a guerrilla war that was going on, and there was so much instability. But nevertheless, through independence, and eventually the emergency actually ended in 1960. But the nation was put on a very strong footing from then onwards. So that is, I think our people chose our forefathers chose the more difficult path of integration instead of assimilation. But by and large, they have done a fairly good job, and I think we are fairly integrated. We are not there yet, but I think we are okay. Compared to so many other countries in our neighboring situation, I think Malaysia, by and large, is still a very, very good place to stay.
I would say so too. Speaking of challenges, right? We started from a very challenging place. What are some of the most significant challenges that you've encountered in promoting interfaith harmony, when having interfaith dialogues, and how have you addressed these challenges?
Well, I think one of the major challenges is the stereotyping. And sometimes Malaysians put and stereotype people and become very judgmental, and the perception, they create instant perception. And they have not even actually engaged with the person, and they just say, this guy is like that, and immediate perception, so I label him. So Christians for Peace and Harmony in Malaysia, CPHM, we don't believe in labeling people, So why is there a need to label someone as extremist, ultra, and all that? So we just say that we engage. It's okay, you are entitled to your own beliefs and opinion, but through our engagement and our discussion and conversation, maybe, that may change a certain mindset. I remember there was a Malay NGO that we have invited for many years, but they have never wanted to attend our meetings. For 3 years, they didn't come. The 4th year, the leader turned up. And I asked him, I'm so glad that you are here.
What made you change your mind?
Then I asked him, what made you come? He said, just give me one word, ikhlas. So what he meant was that we have been watching you for the past 3 years, and we know that the work you do, you are sincere. So now we are here. We are ready to engage. So it's fine. Because the work that we do, we continue. We persevere no matter what happens, whether you succeed or you fail, but it is a long journey. We realize that we are in this for the long term, right? So exactly. So there we are. Now we're engaging with all kinds of segments, whether you want to say left, right, center, whatever, everyone. And many of them are our friends. This is really an incredible journey because we have seen mindsets change, stereotyping being broken, the usual profiling being broken, and now they say, hey, we have got friends from the Christian side, we got friends from so many other places, and that actually encouraged me a lot and say that this is the work that we are doing and I want to continue this. Right?
What was the most surprising thing that you came across throughout, all the dialogues that you've had with all these people of different faiths?
Okay, some of the dialogues we have, out of necessity, we had to do closed-door dialogue because those are the closed-door dialogues that we can really share our hearts out honestly in that sense. But it's closed door, so it's okay. So the rules are very clear.
Right.
Nothing personal, but this is what we share, our concerns, our issues. And that has turned out very well, despite, and then of course we don't want to make a press statement. We are not the type to go around making press statements and saying all kind of stuff. So CPHM very rarely issue any press statement criticizing this, criticizing that, no. What we do is that quiet engagement on the ground with ordinary people and leaders. And I was very, very touched when the leader of an organization, a Malay organization, which many people felt is a bit, they try to label it as ultra. But the leader actually came forward and said, can I sponsor the school bags for all the anak yatim for your Christmas dinner? And he did. So he bought 40 school bags and we gave it to all the anak yatim. And that was, I didn't expect him to come from him. But there you are. So people do change and people do find that when your engagement is sincere, and that is the thing that give us hope, especially in Malaysia.
And, within the context of Malaysia, with so many different faiths involved, there are also, very, very sensitive issues. So how do you go about navigating that?
I think the best picture and I see was during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, where the nation was undergoing this crisis. And all of us, no matter what race or religion, we were all faced with this terrible disease, and there were 21 NGOs that came together, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, and led by the Suchi Foundation. And they were raising funds for the hospital to buy equipment, to buy ventilators, and so many things, and buying food and doing distribution. I remember we turun padang and we were like MCO and the enhanced MCO areas. We were actually putting and giving food across the barbed wires. We have never seen things like this in Malaysia before. But those people who were stuck in the MCO areas, were receiving food and all that, and they were really, really helpful. And we see that everybody, it was no more about the color of your skin or the religion, it was just sheer humanity. And eventually, CPHM and Better Dads and all that, we did the final event for this campaign. The campaign actually raised over 9 months, I think we raised about 33 million. And we ended up with a online concert called Raising Hope. Right. So that was a concert that bound everybody together. And we had everybody from all faiths actually ended up appearing in the concert. It was an online concert. So we had snippets of songs and all kinds of things. Even the Buddhists were singing and everything else. And it was broadcast all the way, actually worldwide, FB live, and Taiwan people was watching it. Many people actually were saying, and this is the positive spirit message of hope that we're giving. So you can see how great things can happen when everybody gather together and really do the work that is important for people of Malaysia.
Right, that really is an amazing thing. Now we're going to continue on talking about the role of family and also the work that Jason does with Better Dads Malaysia. But we're going to take another very quick break and we'll be right back after this.
Kita sekarang sudah sampai ke penghujung tahun 2024 dan kita akan meraihkan perayaan Hari Christmas dalam sedikit masa saja. Tapi untuk kita yang bercuti, berhati-hatilah sebab sekarang ini musim hujan, musim banjir. So kepada mereka yang meraihkan Hari Christmas, saya mengucapkan Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Tapi please berhati-hati dalam masa ke highway ke, balik kampung ke, tak kira lah sama ada you celebrate Christmas atau tidak, tapi semua rakyat Malaysia menyambut Hari Christmas dan tahun baru. So please drive safely and be on the road and take care of yourself. Terima kasih. Happy Christmas.
Welcome back. We're still talking to Jason. Now, you are the founder of Better Dads Malaysia. Now, we always say that good values start at home. And very often, you know, the values that we teach our children is placed upon the shoulders of mothers. However, with Better Dads Malaysia, your initiative, how does it contribute to fostering a culture of understanding and also respect across different communities? What's that very important role that a father plays in the upbringing of a child, you know, with the values and what you teach children?
Well, at Better Dads Malaysia, or in Malay, our NGO is known as Pertubuhan Bapa Hebat Malaysia. And in terms of the initiative, because we want to convey, we are not a NGO that collects or recruits members.
Okay.
We are a movement, a national movement for fathers. And basically, our vision is to challenge all fathers in Malaysia to rise up and be more responsible fathers. And this is something that is often, in a sense, neglected, because sometimes there is a lot of focus on parenting. Parenting is good, but fathering is more specific, because the fathering skill set and the mothering skill set are two separate skill sets,
right.
Very different. So mothers do have a role. Mothers, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world and holds up half the sky. But I think the fathers will also be the other half that keeps to help the mothers to hold up the other half of the sky.
Right.
And that's very important, because fathers often, traditionally in Malaysia, and Asian fathers, they have a very patriarchal kind of mindset and say that, okay, whatever is in the home, we leave it to the mothers. Whatever is outside the home, that's the father's job. And we provide the food on the table, and that's enough. But it's not enough. So what we are saying, trying to challenge the men in Malaysia, is that, you know, you need to be more responsible, you need to step up, and you also need to play the role of spending enough time to be involved in your children's world, because fathers often miss out sometimes on their children's life, because they're so busy working out there,
Right.
climbing the corporate world and whatnot. And this is something that is important, because children spell love as T-I-M-E, time. The amount of time that you spend on. So the presence of the father is very important. And as you would think back, I think most of the time when we ask during our workshop and our participants, what is that, how influential is your father in your life? And most of them, when they think back, yeah, my father has a massive influence on me in my life, or whether I'm a daughter or a son. And that is huge influence, because the word from the father and the engagement of the father with the child is very powerful. So never forget that the power of the father to influence a child. And in fact, this, as far as national unity, patriotism is concerned, I recently completed a book called 10 Ways How a Father Can Promote Patriotism and National Unity to the Children. And my view is that conversation about national unity should start in the family. It begins at home. And that should be the conversation around the dining table.
Right.
And not leave it to the school to promote national unity.
Absolutely.
And this is where it should be. And the role of the father is that this is where he should lead the family. And if he does his role well, then the family will be very strong. And eventually the family is strong, the nation is strong.
Right. Jason, you have about 1 minute. What can Better Dads, or what is your message from Better Dads Malaysia to all the fathers out there, and how to make Christmas a more festive and enjoyable time for all the family?
Okay. Well, I think both messages, whether from Better Dads Malaysia or from CPHM, my message is that all of us should continue in our efforts to build national unity and for peace and harmony, and never lose hope. Because people who believe in a faith and religion, we are people who believe in hope. We will not give up hope. So no matter what, there is always hope, and we must continue to persevere and do what we do to promote peace and harmony for the betterment of this nation that we love called Malaysia.
Fantastic, Jason. Thank you so much. And as we conclude today's conversation, we are reminded of the importance of fostering unity and also understanding in a diverse society like ours. To those of you who are celebrating, we from the nation would like to extend our warmest greetings this Christmas season. May this special time bring you joy, peace, and countless blessings. Thank you so much for joining us on The Nation. I'm PASHA RAHIM, and we'll see you next time for more conversations that matter.